Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and welcome to Musical Movie Week! Okay, I'm not going to be singing as I review, okay? So, and it's just for that. It's just for, when I say Musical Movie Week, I'm sure you get my point. So, that's right, Musical Movie Week, where I, throughout this week, will be reviewing a couple of, and also another way to say it, batch of musical films. And, yeah, that's right. You read the title. You know exactly what the first musical film it is that I'm reviewing. Coming straight from good old 20th Century Fox, and, this one particular musical film from 20th Century Fox, I'm sure that, no doubt about it, that a lot of people mistaken this musical film being a Disney musical, and, well, technically, now that 20th Century Fox is a part of the Disney family, this is now technically a Disney musical, I guess you could say. That's right. From 1969, it's Hello, Dolly. Yes, Hello, Dolly. Wow, just what an interesting piece of a musical this is. With the movie itself, probably, it's not really the best, and there are those that, really don't enjoy this. I know that my mom is one of them. No hard feelings on her, but even, I'm noticing this, the Rotten Tomato score is 45%. Jeez. And by the way, shout out to Jacob. I know that he's excited for this, that I'm reviewing it, and thus you're watching it right now, Jacob. So yeah, and to anybody else who really enjoys the movie Hello, Dolly and the musical itself, obviously Hello, Dolly having its own Broadway show, I'm pretty sure that, well, maybe, possibly, I don't see why not. And if I'm correct, the Broadway stage version of Hello, Dolly is really good. So, and no hard feelings on the movie adaptation, etc. So yeah. Not to mention, because a lot of people, I'm sure, don't realize that Hello, Dolly, the movie that is, it was directed by the late, legendary Gene Kelly. Yeah, who starred and co-directed Singing in the Rain. That's what he's probably just best known for. Also, best known for that one movie where he danced with Jerry the Mouse. That film. Yeah. And, well, Gene Kelly obviously being no stranger to musicals and such, and for him to direct this, Gene Kelly, he was a good director, him being a good director, and he did a good job directing this, and, with everybody who sang and danced in this. Yeah. So for me, because what I think of Hello, Dolly, the movie itself, well, it is what it is. It is a pretty good musical film. Maybe not, the best, like all those other great musicals, but still, a good chunk of people that, like me, seem to really enjoy this. Not to mention, and, well, I can't really avoid mentioning this, because my introduction to Hello, Dolly, and I'm sure that goes for a lot of you others, well, WALL-E. Yeah, so WALL-E being my introduction to Hello, Dolly, and that's all I'm gonna say. That's the only time I'm gonna mention WALL-E, okay? So, and because when I think of Hello, Dolly, I don't think of WALL-E. So, there could be some people that would think of a movie that is connected with another, if you get what I'm saying. When I think of Hello, Dolly, I don't immediately think of WALL-E and such, if you get what I'm saying. I'm sure you guys have been there too. So, enough said. As always, read the description / the story. In 1890s New York City, the bold and enchanting widow, Dolly Levy, is a socialite turned matchmaker. Her latest clients seeking assistance are the cantankerous, if I'm even saying that one word right, $500,000 Horace Vandergelder and a young artist named Ambrose, who is in love with Horace's niece, Ermengarde, if I'm saying that right. Dolly's scheming soon involves Horace's employees, as well as a New York hat maker, as she tries to cover up her own secret romantic designs. Okay, so Hello Dolly itself, and I'm gonna save the songs for last, which that's what I'm gonna do with the other musical films, throughout this week. So, anyways, the movie itself and the story, because, taking place in 1890, in New York City, and we get the introduction, and, well, it doesn't take too long for, to have our first song number. We get the introduction of, well, the titled character, although, her first name, not her full name, because, Hello Dolly, Hello Dolly. Dolly Levy, being played by the one and only Barbara Streisand. Yep, so, and just, like, I gotta say, because Dolly Levy in this, the character of Dolly Levy, like, such a great character she is, and how, she's always, like, helping out people, and always, like, passing, her cards and such to everybody and such, always, helping someone to find someone and stuff like that, and, clients and so on, and making plans and reservations for those people, and what she does later on for some of the other main characters. So basically, she's on her way to New York, and there is one moment at the train station where we get a cameo appearance of Mr. Jones Porter, being played by the late Scatman Crothers. Yeah, so he makes one appearance / a cameo in this, just saying hello to Dolly as she's making her way to, her train that she's about to board, and making her way to Yonkers. And, well, her getting on the train, and we get the credits, the opening credits. And back in those days when movies, did the credits and such. And, well, because we come to Yonkers, and we get the introduction of our other characters. We have Horace Vandergelder, who runs this business of his, and best way to put out, like, farming stuff, I want to say. Yeah. And Horace Vandergelder, being played by the late, legendary Walter Matthau. Yeah, Walter Matthau as Horace. And his niece, Ermengarde, Ermengarde, if I'm saying that right, But, at a certain point, I'm just gonna call her Horace's niece. Okay, so she's played by Joyce Ames, and she has this argument and fight with her uncle, because she wants to be with whom she loves, Ambrose, but Horace is having nothing, is not having any of it, because he hates Ambrose, and Ambrose Kemper, being played by Tommy Tune. And basically what we know of Ambrose is, he's an innocent and nice guy, and he's a painter, and apparently Horace just doesn't like his work and such, what he does for a living, being a painter. What's wrong with that? Well, that's Horace for you. And that's another thing, because Horace, and I think you would immediately identify and know what Horace is like. He is grouchy, but can definitely be a jerk at times. And especially moments between him and Dolly. Oh boy, because Dolly trying to get to Horace, and little do we know at first, with her interactions with Horace so much, and what she's really doing. So, and what she's planning up her sleeves. We see Horace's two employees. There's Cornelius Hackle, if I'm saying the last name right, being played by Michael Crawford, and Barnaby Tucker, played by Danny Locken. So they work with Horace, and, and he's a jerk to his employees, too. So, I mean, nothing too, extreme and such and stuff like that. I mean, I kind of like how they really don't, have Horace go too far, We want to like this guy, right? So, if you get my point. And here's another thing, because fun fact, yeah, one of the first fun facts I'll mention and talk about is that apparently, then golly, because Walter Matthau and Barbara Streisand, best way to put it, they did not get along while working on Hello, Dolly. Walter did not like Barbara Streisand, and they fought at times. And you know what? Because the chemistry between them and with their characters, it really works, you know? And there was one time while they were filming Hello, Dolly, and they took a day off, I want to say. They took a break. Walter Matthau and Michael Crawford, they went to this horse race, and they discovered that one of the horses in this horse race was named Hello, Dolly. And Walter Matthau, he refused to bid on that horse because, well, this, you know, because he couldn't help himself but think of Barbara Streisand and such. But Michael Crawford did bid on the horse, and in the end, that horse won. And after that, Walter Matthau refused to speak with Michael Crawford unless if it was very necessary while working on Hello, Dolly. Oh my gosh, like, and no hard feelings on the late Walter Matthau, but just like, don't you think he was taking that a little too far? And look, just because, like, you know, Michael Crawford bidded on a horse and such, and, like, how are they supposed to know that they would see a horse named Hello, Dolly? And, you know, because of that, like, that doesn't mean that Walter Matthau has to not speak with Michael Crawford. Michael Crawford never did anything to Walter Matthau. I'm just saying, because, golly. And what did Barbara Streisand ever do to Walter Matthau? I guess, like, probably Walter Matthau just didn't like Barbara Streisand's work or something. I don't know, but, oh my gosh. It's just really crazy to hear about that. That's insane. But anyways, so again, yeah, like the chemistry between Dolly and Horace is pretty good. Not to mention because with Dolly arriving from New York to Yonkers, she's supposed to pick up and bring along with her back to New York Horace's niece. And, well, sure enough, because Dolly, well, she does, nice to see that she helps out Horace's niece as well as Ambrose. Like, she has plans. She has plans for them and how she can find a way to, convince and to get Horace to change his mind on how he feels on, each his niece and Ambrose, them being together. And then a little bit later, she does turn to, Horace's two employees. Basically, and to speed things up, because Dolly, she tells, Horace's niece, as well as Ambrose, that at New York, because they will proceed on to New York, and, Ambrose, of course, tagging along with them, and, they will, go to this one restaurant, which being the Harmonia Gardens. They will be at that restaurant, and they will enter the polka dance, and they'll receive the prize money, and, she plans on having Horace be there, and so he can witness, his niece as well as Ambrose, and hopefully he can be reconvinced and changed his mind and change his feelings on the relationship between his niece and Ambrose. And with Barnaby and Cornelius, well, because they want to have adventure, because they know that their boss is going to New York. And basically, what's happening is that Horace is planning to meet and marry this lady named Irene Malloy. Yeah, I think I've got that right. So he's planning to get married to her, and I don't think he even met her. I think the movie does establish that. And for Barnaby and Cornelius, well, because they want to have adventure, they, one day without working and just to go to New York and such, and, what their goals to do in New York, and, they won't come back to Yonkers, until they have kissed a girl. And, we get another song number, Put On Your Sunday Clothes there. Also, like, before Walter Matthau, him as Horace, like, departed for going to New York and such, because, a song number with him as well as his two employees, It Takes a Woman, a Dainty Woman, and then, thus that one of the first conversations between Dolly and Horace. So yeah, and well, thus Dolly, Horace's niece, Ambrose, and Cornelius and Barnaby, they all head to New York. And so with them heading to New York and, throughout the rest of this movie taking place entirely in New York, I mean, there's only two locations in this movie, Yonkers and New York. One part of New York, that is. And thus, they're there as well as Horace, because he's there too. And yeah, at times, Cornelius and Barnaby trying to avoid being seen by their boss. And the same goes for Horace's niece and Ambrose. In fact, there's not that much with Ermengarde and Ambrose. There's not that much of them in this movie. And well, I mean, there is, and all the characters that we get a lot in this movie are, well, Cornelius, Barnaby, and that of course goes for Dolly and Horace, as well as these two ladies whom we get to meet at this hat shop. Yeah, I mean, it's more than just hats. Like, there's a couple of clothes and such, but mostly hats. So yeah, we do get the introduction of Irene Maoli. Golly, what's there? I had it right at first. So Irene, okay, I'm just going to say Irene, sorry. Irene, being played by Maureen McAndrew, yeah. And her, friend and co-worker, business partner and such, Minnie Fay, being played by E.G. Peeker. E.J. Peeker, yeah. And I recognize E.G. Peeker, she's, she's done a lot of other, great films. But I remember seeing this, and this was, sometime after Hello, Dolly came out. It was probably that same year, or 1970, when she appeared on, on one of those Disney TV specials, part of the wonderful world of Disney. It was her, the Osmond brothers, and Kurt Russell at Disneyland, and this had to do with, at the time, Disneyland's newest attraction, that being the Haunted Mansion. So yeah, that Disneyland special / Disney TV special, I'm sure you guys know of it. And it is on YouTube. It is actually out there on YouTube, online. So that's really cool. So she guest starred on that. And again, this was after Hello, Dolly, and a young Donny Osmond is wondering, who she is at first, and turns to one of his older brothers, and he tells Donny that, because, remember when we saw Hello, Dolly, and, do you remember Minnie Fay? And that's her, E.J. Peeker. The movie star? Yeah, the movie star. So, yeah, I thought I'd mention that. So, yeah, so, again, Irene and Minnie, they run this, this shop, with hats, and, because Irene is well aware of Horace arriving, and she immediately knows, and even tells Minnie that she's not going to marry Horace. And outside of their shop, they do notice outside, out front, are Cornelius and Barnaby, and they find them attractive immediately, and especially for Irene, she finds the tall one attractive, and she's referring to Cornelius. And they plan to dress up nice and to flirt with them, and thus they proceed on into the shop. And because them trying to figure out at first how to introduce themselves to whomever works in that shop, and they know it's women working in there. And yeah, Irene stepping out, and she can of course hear them practicing, and yeah, it was funny. And basically, they lie / pretend, and with what Dolly has described Cornelius and Barnaby to Irene and Minnie, they're rich, they're millionaires, and Cornelius is, he says that everybody knows him in New York, good old Cornelius and such. And to speed things up because, well, it doesn't take too long for Horace, along with Dolly, to show up at that shop, and, well, because Cornelius and Barnaby, they have to hide, being seen by Horace, and it's pretty funny, because, Cornelius hides in a wardrobe, and Barnaby hides under a table, and that sequence where, Horace meets Irene, and, Dolly, of course, being there, and, almost, like, Cornelius and Barnaby, they were this close to being exposed and seen by, Horace, and not to mention because, Irene tells Horace that, oh, there's men, lurking around in the shop and such, best way for me to put at it, and then Cornelius is mentioned, because, apparently, because Irene knows Cornelius, and Dolly, helping out, and, standing up for and helping out Irene, as well as, keeping Cornelius and Barnaby from being seen, telling Horace how Irene knows about Cornelius and what Cornelius does. Like, after he's done with work and such, and late in that evening, he would travel to New York and so on. And then at one point, Minnie comes out, and, well, because she pulled something out of the wardrobe, and she did notice. It took her a few seconds to realize that Cornelius was in there, and she screamed, and, there's a man, and Irene getting Minnie to go into another room and to get her to shut up and such. And Horace is suspecting, well, there are men in the shop, and even, Dolly helping out by, investigating and, pretending and saying to Horace that, there's nobody there, and because, she did, used a feather and such, and she aimed it at Cornelius. That caused Cornelius to sneeze, and with the wardrobe shaking, and then Barnaby sneezed under the table. And that was it for Horace. He had enough, and it seemed like that, yeah, he was done with wanting to marry Irene. And after that, because, well, Cornelius and Barnaby, because, well, they didn't have time to explain to Irene and Minnie what they were doing and them hiding from Cornelius, and, them explaining, and with Dolly helping out as well. And, well, and just, to speed things up still, because, well, now, because Dolly, makes plans for Cornelius and Barnaby, and as well as Irene and Minnie, to go have dinner at that restaurant, and basically, they can, I think, yeah, because they don't have to at first, but, and be in the polka dance or anything like that, because, they can dance with Irene and and Minnie, sorry. But Cornelius at one point, and that also goes for Barnaby, they don't know how to dance, but Dolly helping them out, and it doesn't take them that long. Cornelius and Barnaby knowing and learning how to dance. And another song number that happens, and by the way, because I will mention this, sometimes in the movie Hello, Dolly, some song numbers and dance moments, they can go on for a little bit. I mean, not that long, but especially at the restaurant. What happens at the restaurant, one dance number and song number, they go on for a little bit, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not really complaining. I'm just saying it is understandable and, yeah, noticeable. And another way to put it, they can sometimes drag. I'm sure you guys would agree on that. But again, I'm not really complaining. I'm just saying, because I understand, and I of course I can notice that. And no wonder, because this being a good 2-hour a good long 2-hour movie, you get what I'm saying, because yeah, no, again, best way to put it, no wonder, because this being 2 hours long, because of how, with some song numbers and dance numbers that just go on for a little bit. It is, yeah, it's understandable. Okay, so back to the movie itself. After the song and, song number and dance number in one part of New York and in this park, because a parade is happening in which Horace is attending to it, like the 14th Street Parade. Yeah, that sounds about right. Because Cornelius and Barnaby, wanting to go, watch and see the parade along with Irene and Minnie. And then, because later in the day, they would proceed on to dinner. And Dolly, because, she'll catch up with them. And there's a moment with Dolly, because one thing I can't forget to mention is that, she is a widow, in which because I read that in the description / the story, I'm pretty sure, because she is a widow, and because, widow, so I had to make sure. Yeah, she is a widow, and her late husband, Levi, I'm pretty sure I said that right. Levy. Because moments where she's thinking about her late husband and, speaking to him and how, she wants to move on into, she can be let go of. And, if anybody would figure this out, because she has her eyes sight on Horace, and, with what she's wanting to do, and, because... and, just being, her being a fool, as she says, and, can't be, doesn't want to be alone and not be a fool and such, so, and how she says it. And at the parade, because, quite a big parade, because even, I've watched a little bit of the behind-the-scenes footage, B-roll, I guess that's the best way to put at it, and seeing Gene Kelly directing and such, and him directing that sequence where the big parade is happening, the 14th Street Parade, etc. And there is one character that I think this is her, because who is friends with Dolly. Yeah, they know each other. Gussie Granger, being played by Judy Canez, if I'm saying that right. And again, because like I said, they know each other, and they have a little interaction, and then, because Dolly, she catches up to Horace, and, because it didn't go so well, and, Horace was done right there and didn't want anything to do with Irene, and, he even basically let Dolly go because, Dolly being his marriage broker, I'm pretty sure that's the correct way of saying it, he discharged her and stuff like that. But Dolly, because she tells and tries to convince Horace to, still go to dinner and meet someone else, and making up a name, and, Miss Simple, because the full name, because all I can remember is Miss Simple. If I remember or not, I'll put a text of the full name. So, her trying to convince Horace, but him being a grouch and not cooperating, and, I'm not interested, etc. Because eventually, of course, Horace does so. What other choice does he have, And then Dolly turns to her friend Goosey, and she has her play the part of Miss Simple, and gives her her card and so on. And so yes, to speed things up some more, because later that evening, because it's about to happen, because everybody being at dinner, from Cornelius, Barnaby, with Irene and Minnie, and as well as seeing Horace's niece and Ambrose there as well, because, them being at that restaurant and entering in the polka dance. And, with Horace gonna be there and meet with this lady that Dolly has set him up with, which being Miss Simple. But little does Horace know what Dolly is actually doing. So, and obviously, because, Dolly, she did give Goosey all the evidence and gave her the heads up on what's really going on. So, and so with Cornelius and Barnaby, because they're waiting for Irene and Minnie, because Barnaby at times, he thinks that it's a bad idea and how, because, they could get caught and anything bad could happen to them. But Cornelius, he's not giving up, and he assures Barnaby. And, because they're wondering what's taking Irene and Minnie so long. And Cornelius tells Barnaby that, well, because they have to change clothes. They have to change a lot. You see, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong. It's true, because, and another thing he said, women wear a lot. It is true, so, so eventually, so of course they do make it, Irene and Minnie, they recommend that they should take a carriage and such, and for Cornelius and Barnaby, they don't want to do that, and they prefer and tell the two ladies that they should just walk. And, well, because they're trying their best not to blow it, and, well, because, they say that they're rich, and, well, they don't want to spend a dime, because money is no object and stuff like that. And more on money that's brought up later on, and especially from Dolly, and with her late husband. So another song number that we get from Cornelius, Barnaby, and as along with Irene and Minnie, and with them walking and making their way to the restaurant. And there's one moment where we see Dolly. She's staying at, I guess, like a hotel room, I guess, that she's staying at, and, thinking all about, obviously she's thinking all about, Horace, and, because wanting to be with him and so on. Yeah, so, and I will say this, like, the song numbers in Hello, Dolly, some of them can be, emotional. They really can. And sometimes with what's going on with Dolly and, just her being in love with Horace and trying to just be with him. Yeah. Okay, so at the restaurant, because, well, here's another thing. Dolly being well-known in New York, and especially at the restaurant, being Harmonia Gardens. Yeah, I gotta remember that name still. Like, and we see, because one of the main guys who runs that restaurant, Rudolph Rezenweber, if I'm saying the last name right, being played by the late David Hurst. Yeah, so he plays Rudolph, who runs the restaurant, the main guy, and, well, we see everybody arriving there. We do see that Ambrose and Horace's niece, they were there already, and then, well, because Cornelius, Barnaby, Irene, and Minnie, they show up as well, and, well, because, them letting Rudolph know about Dolly and, helping them with the arrangements and stuff like that. And it seems like they might not be on the list, but, and they get a special private, dining table with curtains closed and such. Well, because then Horace showing up a little bit later, and, well, him to meet with the lady he's supposed to have dinner with, and maybe he can be with this lady, even though technically he's not supposed to be with her, and that being, well, Miss Simple. It's Goosey pretending to be Miss Simple, and oh my gosh, because it's hilarious, like, just the chemistry between Horace and Miss Simple is funny. And in the end, because to speed things up, because, yeah, eventually Miss Simple leaves and says goodbye to Horace, like, I'm gonna be sick to my stomach and such, and then she lets Dolly know that, he's yours, and then Dolly proceeds on inside the restaurant. And by the way, because Rudolph and all the other restaurant employees, from the waiters and the chefs, because they know Dolly so well, they are well aware that Dolly is coming to the restaurant, and they had not seen her in quite a while. They're all so excited to see her again. And when she finally shows up, that's when we get our next song number that, yeah, it does go on for a little while, and as I mentioned and talked about early on, But it is a good song number, Hello, Dolly, but more on that later on when I get to the song numbers. And during that song number, well, because we get a cameo, and, well, it is a cameo, and even though, because he's in the main cast, like the top cast and such, and his name is there in the opening credits, but he's just there for one scene, and in that song number, the orchestra leader, Lewis, being played by the late, legendary Louis Armstrong. Yeah, Louis Armstrong, he makes a cameo in this, and hello, Dolly. And by the way, because before doing this movie, he had already done his cover of Hello, Dolly, which was a very popular record of his. I'm sure you are aware of this. And for those of you that know about Louis Armstrong and enjoy his music, yeah. And basically, because another fun fact, because Louis Armstrong, he recorded his appearance in the movie all in just like one day, I think, yeah. And besides, like, yeah, because just for that one scene, that one scene in that song number, just, yeah. But you know what? It was worth it, and nice to see him in this movie. And not to mention, Hello, Dolly would be Louis Armstrong's last on-screen appearance, like his last movie, I should say, before, sadly, 2 years after the movie would come out, he would sadly pass away. Yeah. So, yeah, and after we get the appearance of Louis Armstrong, and with the song number still continuing, and when it eventually is done, and then we get a dance. Then we get a dance number from the waiters. That does go on for quite a while, too. And not to mention because, for Cornelius, Barnaby, and Irene, and Minnie, because seems to be going pretty well. And up until they have to pay the bill. And, Horace saying to Irene that, can I, promise you won't, shout or anything like that or whatever he says, because he's going to tell Irene the truth about himself and Barnaby, and thus he does, because he tells both of them, Irene and Minnie, that they're not millionaires, and all the things that Dolly said about them were lies, and, because she was covering for them. And, well, Irene and Minnie, they're perfectly fine with it, and because, well, they knew from the beginning. They knew right away what they were like, and, they had no problems with it, and that was good to see. And, how attractive they are to them. So, and they are happily, they are happily to pay the bill and such, Irene and Minnie. They are more than glad to do that, even though they don't have that much money, Cornelius and Barnaby, to pay the bill. But unfortunately, well, they don't have, Irene and Minnie, they don't have Irene's purse, because Irene turning to Minnie, because it was a white purse with money and such, and, well, it was left back at the store that they run. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where they left it, by accident. They forgot to take it with them, and, well, because when they were changing clothes, and it's not that they intentionally forgot to bring it with them, the white purse with the money, and, because so much on their mind, and with what was happening that evening. And even when one waiter coming in and, asking if they're ready to pay the bill, Cornelius just finding excuses and telling the waiter, another bottle of champagne, to avoid paying the bill, because they're stuck, and, well, they don't want to risk going to jail, Cornelius and Barnaby. And, well, Dolly, her sitting down with Horace, and Horace, because he has already eaten and he's just had enough and such, and, oh my gosh, Dolly sometimes being a fast talker, and she is saying so much to poor Horace, and I think, yeah, Horace does figure it out that, Dolly is wanting him to ask her to marry him, and, well, he didn't ask, and just, oh my gosh, Dolly just, getting Horace on his nerves badly, and him just poor Horace just wanting to leave and such. He's had it for the evening. But then the polka dance is about to happen, and Dolly tells Horace that she wants him to stay for the polka dance, to sit down, and she's one of the judges for the polka dance. And by the way, the dance number with the waiters, talk a little bit more on that, because, like I said, that goes on for quite a little while, but there are some humorous moments, like when, this one couple, and the guy is trying to ask for their order, and like going from, like, say, a fish to like a lobster and live ducks, and the one waiter grabbing a gun and shooting at the duck. That's funny. So, movies back then, I tell ya. And so the polka dance happening, and the prize money being announced, like $50, I want to say, and Cornelius overhearing this, and that could be their ticket to get out of the restaurant and to pay the bill. So they enter in the polka dance, all of them, Cornelius with Irene and Barnaby with Minnie. And of course we see Horace's niece and Ambrose in the polka dance as well. And hopefully, because this will convince and get Horace to change his minds and feelings on how he feels between, his niece and Ambrose together, etc. So yeah, with the polka dance happening, and because for her and Ambrose, they're trying to avoid being seen by Horace. Because I guess they're too afraid to be seen, because I remember clearly, I know that Dolly clearly said to them that, they want him to be reconvinced and to change his feelings on, between her and Ambrose, and, and not just them, but when, Cornelius and, Irene, Barnaby, and Minnie, they step out and, they participate in the polka dance, for Cornelius and Barnaby, they as well try to avoid being seen by Horace, and sure enough, you knew it was coming, because at a certain point, Horace first notices, and he notices Ambrose is out there dancing, but he doesn't know that his niece is there, because she's covering her face with a hat that she's wearing, with something dangling, those kind of hats. But when her hat was accidentally knocked off her head, and her trying to get it, sure enough, Horace discovers it's her, and boy, is Horace, because with Horace finding out, because he really gets in a tizzy and so on, and him just, going and trying to chase after Ambrose, and this causes one waiter to drop something that had, cream or something to it, maybe a piece of pie, I don't know, probably a pie, whichever it was. It splats on this guy, and he thinks that it's Horace that did this, and just him growling and just about to go after Horace. And it doesn't take too long for Cornelius, Barnaby, Irene, and Minnie, they actually try to make a break for it. They try to get out of the restaurant. Even some of the waiters, they're on their tail. They're after them. They're trying to get them, and them trying to get away from the waiters. And doesn't take too long for them to run into Horace, and he discovers that, his two employees are in New York. And even when Cornelius tries to, say that, he was delivering something to New York, he's not believing it. Horace is not, and thus he fires Cornelius, and then when he sees Barnaby, he fires him too, and each of them saying that, you can't fire me, I quit. And Irene and Minnie, they say, and you can fire us too, etc. And eventually, yeah, because they do get out of the restaurant. And for Horace, because him still going after Ambrose, he's having no luck trying to get to Ambrose. But the one guy who has cream on his face, he does go after Horace and eventually punches him and knocks out Horace. And that's the end of that madness, and, Ambrose and Horace's niece, they're all right, and Dolly, just her response, and after all this, and when Horace, he's unconscious, oh, Horace Vandergelder, yeah, that's pretty funny. And then we see Cornelius, Barnaby, Irene, and Minnie at this one park, in the evening, Well, because what now for Cornelius and Barnaby? Even Irene, because she wants to know, like, more, I think, yeah, because on Cornelius and such, and, well, and this kind of, like, Cornelius doesn't want to have any of it, and, even, like, just telling Irene no, and, he's starting to shout, and, well, this gets the attention of, this policeman in the park. And this one policeman, because there are a couple of policemen that pop up in this movie, because some of them being, other cast members being uncredited. Like, this one policeman who we saw early on in the film, being played by the late George Barrows, if I'm saying that right. I think I might have seen George Barrows from other films. Even Billy Bletcher. Billy Bletcher had an uncredited appearance in this. He was... he's credited as minor role, but I remember the late Billy Bletcher best for him being the original voice of Pete the cat. Yeah, that's him. And I can think of that one Mickey Mouse short film where he and Pluto are on the train, and, there's some behind-the-scenes footage of Billy and Walt Disney recording their lines as Mickey and Pete, and, all alone without your dog. Yeah, so that's cool. So, yeah, and this one policeman in the park, because he goes up to them and, because they're disrupting the peace, this policeman in the park being played by the late legendary J. Pat O'Malley. And yeah, I would consider him, a Disney legend, because he did so much voice work for a lot of Disney stuff in the Disney parks, like most notably Pirates of the Caribbean, and in the Disney animated films. Like, he was the voice of the Walrus, the Carpenter in Alice in Wonderland, and as well as Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Colonel Hathy, and one of the vultures in The Jungle Book. Yeah, he did so much at Disney. So him as this one policeman in the park, like wondering what the commotion is and them disrupting the peace, and then everybody at this park, like, coming together, and just, well, Cornelius is turning to everybody about what happened on, this one day where he met and fell in love with Irene, and the policeman questioning him that, young man, are you trying to tell me that you fell in love with this lady in just one day, etc.? And it wasn't just that, like, he didn't just fall in love, like, it didn't take him a second or a minute, all of that, to fall in love. It only took a moment. Yeah, and thus with, the next song number, It Only Takes a Moment. And yeah, I mean, I'll mention it again, being a very one of the important parts with this movie and in WALL-E. So yeah, and this, yeah, but more on the song number when I get to talking about the song numbers, like I said early on. And it's nice to see, because how, everybody in the park, and, even, of course, Barnaby and Minnie being there, all joining together and singing, and then Irene singing. And, yeah, because now it's official for both Cornelius and Irene. And after that song number, because, well, coming back to Dolly and Horace, and, of course, the aftermath of, at the restaurant, and Dolly assuring Rudolph and all the others that the damage and such will be paid and such from Horace. And this is where we once again get another song number where basically Dolly is saying goodbye to Horace, and don't come crying to me and such by my doorstep. And Horace, like, he's not having it. And, and it seems like it seems like he's going to be alone. I mean, yeah, because he has lost his niece officially, and he's fired his two employees, Cornelius and Barnaby, and he's lost Dolly, because, again, Dolly's saying goodbye. And just Horace, he's just not having any of it, because really, by this point, just how much of a jerk and grouch he is. He seems like that, he just has no heart. It seems as though he does. Because after that, we come back to Yonkers. We're back at Yonkers, and Horace, by himself, no Cornelius, no Barnaby, no sign of his niece, because, his niece not being there, and no Dolly. Yeah, he's all alone, and Well, I mean, it doesn't take him too long, and even when Cornelius, Barnaby, Irene, Minnie, as well as Ambrose and Horace's niece, they all show up. I think I assume as though that they all knew that, they really weren't going to ditch Horace, and especially Dolly, because she comes back and she was just dropping off Horace's cane that she took with her, and basically Cornelius and Barnaby, they tell Horace that they're not coming back to work for him. They just want to take their money from the vault that was keeping their money, and they were basically going to start their own business. And Horace really thought that it was a bad idea, and he doubted that it would even work. It probably wouldn't last a day. And well, eventually, because Horace, he does give in, and well, because he lets them go into the vault, and well, he knows the combination, so he helps them out. And then a moment with Dolly, where she is once again speaking to her late husband, Efferman, and just she's wanting his blessing, and, a sign, and another mentioning about money, because what Dolly said to Horace about money, that her late husband said, money being mudgy, I think that's the correct word, yeah. And then, well, because Horace coming back down, and Horace, like, he finally gives in. He does ask Dolly to marry him, and she's really not sure, because I think by this point she feels that she's just, but Horace, he assures her that she's something, she's a fantastic woman, and that's when there's finally a sign for Dolly, where, well, because Horace says the exact same words that Dolly's late husband said, and, with, the mentioning of money being mudgy and stuff like that, yeah, so finally, Dolly and Horace can officially become a thing, and we get our final song number, the grand finale, and where some of the song numbers come together and such, like it's one of those. And well, because everybody's together and we have our happy ending, Cornelius and Barnaby, they get the girls, and Horace, because, well, he gets Dolly. They finally become a couple, and doesn't take them too long to get married, go into the chapel and such, and a nice way to end the movie right there. And with the credits, because, we get the cast, and that's just something like what, say, The Wizard of Oz did and a bunch of other movies, if you know what I'm talking about. And even after the credits roll, we get one last bit of music, like, what is it, like an overture at the end? I guess, I don't know, but yeah. But a great way to end the film overall. Okay, now let's come to the songs of Hello, Dolly. I gotta say, because, well, all of the song numbers, in my opinion, they were pretty good. They didn't disappoint for me. They're pretty good. I mean, I don't know, maybe some of them are not the best, and, well, most notably, and like I said, they can go on for quite a while. Like, yeah, so, the songs, Just Leave Everything to Me, It Takes a Woman, Put on Your Sunday Clothes, Ribbons Down My Back, Dancing, yeah. That's the name of the song number, Dancing, and that's when, Cornelius and Barnaby, they're learning, and it doesn't take them too long to immediately know and learn how to dance. That's the other way around. Learn and know how to dance. There we go. And also, Before the Parade Passes By, Elegance, Love is Only Love, The Waiter's Gallop. Yeah, that's the dance number, The Waiter's Gallop. Hello, Dolly, because that one song number that goes on for quite a while, and where Louis Armstrong shows up later on in the song number. And then It Only Takes a Moment, and So Long, Dearie, where Dolly is saying goodbye to Horace, and the finale. Yep, the finale, where most of the songs in this movie come together, yeah, which being the finale. About the songs, and if I have to choose favorites, and yeah, which ones would be my favorites and that I enjoyed the most? Good question. Well, I think one of the most obvious ones, and I think a lot of people seem to really enjoy this, not to mention because, again, one of these songs having a big part in WALL-E, I still can't help but to mention that, I can't avoid it, that being Put On Your Sunday Clothes. It's a really good song, and not to mention, I think this was probably after WALL-E, where I recall when me and my family had gone to Disney World, and at Main Street, yeah, they did play Put On Your Sunday Clothes. Do they still play that? I know that they play that bit of music from Up a lot, jeez. But I do recall hearing that they played Put On Your Sunday Clothes, and again, I think this was after WALL-E, so, Also, It Takes a Woman. I thought that was pretty good, too, because nice to see that Walter Matthau gets a song number, and that being his only song number, aside from the finale. I mean, he gets to sing one of the first songs that are reprised in the finale, Hello, Dolly, that. So this being, his, full song number that he sings, along with, Cornelius and Barnaby, because all about women and such, and, wanting to marry a woman and what a woman would be like, and, it takes a woman, a dainty woman. So I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, Before the Parade Passes, that was a pretty good one, and an emotional part for Dolly, because, her love for Horace and speaking to her late husband, yeah. Of course, Hello, Dolly, that was a good one. And, again, that one song number that goes on for quite a while. Even Dance, yeah, I think I did mention that. Dancing, that goes on for a little while, too. But for Hello, Dolly, good song number, and, Barbra Streisand and Louis Armstrong making an appearance and singing a little bit. And, of course, an emotional song, It Only Takes a Moment, and another song that would be a very important part in WALL-E. So, and So Long, Dearie, because, again, where Dolly says goodbye to Horace, and, again, just how Horace is reacting to this. And I forgot to mention this, because when the song number finishes, well, we see Horace, he turns and looks straight at the camera. I wouldn't say it's really breaking the fourth wall, but, those kind of movies that did something like that, like some characters staring directly at the camera in complete silence. You get what I'm saying? Just, it's just that look he has, and just what just happened? Yeah, that face says it all, and we understand what that face of his is saying. And well, the finale, because again, the finale, where all the songs come together, from Hello, Dolly, Put On Your Sunday Clothes, It Only Takes a Moment, It Takes a Woman, and Hello, Dolly being reprised, and Dolly never leaving, and This Is Where She'll Stay. Yeah, all the song numbers for Hello, Dolly, they're pretty good. And again, my favorite ones, and as I said, and I'll say it again, probably would have to be from Put On Your Sunday Clothes. It Only Takes a Moment. And I think that's about it, really. Those are the only two songs I really enjoy. And, well, because they're probably the two most popular songs from Hello, Dolly. And thanks to WALL-E. God, I can't avoid and get away from WALL-E when talking about Hello, Dolly. Who wouldn't? Thanks, WALL-E. No hard feelings, not to be rude or anything. In a good way, still. But yeah, I mean, if there's any other songs from Hello, Dolly that I also enjoy, not just Put On Your Sunday Clothes and It Only Takes a Moment, I'm thinking maybe I'm thinking of It Takes a Woman. That was pretty good. And I think, yeah, So Long, Dearie. That was a pretty funny song. But, overall, all of the song numbers in Hello, Dolly, as well as the dance numbers, some of them, yes, they go on for quite a while, but at the same time, they're all good. They don't disappoint, for sure, in my opinion. So, Hello, Dolly. just what a really good and decent musical film this is. It may not be the best, and again, I'm pretty sure that, well, the Broadway show itself is probably much better and such, you know, I'm just saying, and I am probably right. The storytelling for the movie of Hello, Dolly was pretty good. The characters, the cast, and, you know, with the song numbers and the dance numbers, and this being directed by the late legendary Gene Kelly, as I said, he did a really good job with this. Him being absolutely no stranger to doing musical films. And, you know, I was thinking of this while watching the movie, like, you know, it's just a thought. I'm just saying, like, wouldn't it have been cool if Gene Kelly made a very quick cameo in this, and if he just sang a little bit? You know, I mean, I'm just saying, like, maybe a little bit, maybe kind of similar to Louis Armstrong, but I'm just saying, it was just a thought that I had, and I thought I'd share it. I mean, it would have been cool, but, you know, yeah, just, yeah. The movie Hello, Dolly, it is what it is, as I said. Yeah, it may not be right there next to, say, all the other great musical films, you know, from, say, like, you know, The Wizard of Oz, Mary Poppins, My Fair Lady, but overall, you know, it has its, you know, lovers as well as its haters, and yeah, like I said, I think, and I'm sure that goes for a lot of others, it's a pretty good and decent musical film. And I'm giving Hello, Dolly, yeah, it's on my mind, I'm giving it 7 out of 10 stars. Yes, 7 out of 10 stars for Hello, Dolly. And what about you guys? What did you think of Hello, Dolly itself? The movie, of course. Like, you know, is it one of your, you know, would it be one of your top favorite musical films and your top list of favorite musical films? Like, and which is your favorite song number and dance number and with the storytelling of it? And, you know, any of you that have seen Hello, Dolly on stage, you know, rather from Broadway or, you know, others doing their own stage version of Hello, Dolly. Just, yeah, overall, what did you think of the film itself and with what I've had to say? And yeah, what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like as always. And so, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Hello, Dolly. More review videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / review. And, well, of course, Musical Movie Week has just begun. So stay tuned later tonight for the next musical film that I'll be reviewing, where, to best describe it, a young Christian Bale plays a newsboy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know exactly what it is. Stay tuned for that. Take care, and peace out.